this session of interviews with our three candidates, and the very first one this morning is Nick Easterling. Am I pronouncing that right?
Easterling.
Easterling, okay. And so we'll have questions. We'll start out with Andy Lavity. Do you have a question you can ask him there?
Thank you, Chair, and other members and public. I appreciate you all being here. And thank you, Nick, for being here. Mr. Easterling. You got a heck of a field to get here today, so good job on being here. My question, what's your motivation for the post, and how do we deal with veteran isolation, aka suicide?
My motivation for the post is to help veterans. Alright, I've been given opportunities because I was a veteran. I've been given opportunities because of my connection to the veteran community with my father, my grandparents, my mother. My whole family's a veteran family. So I want to be where I am today if I wasn't a veteran or if I didn't have the resources that my family has been able to acquire. So I want to be able to take that opportunity and give back to the people and give them the same opportunities that I was afforded. Now, dealing with veteran suicide is a complicated topic. I don't think there's a right way of dealing with it. I know there's certainly wrong ways of dealing with it, but I think if we were to bring it down to the very first problem, or not problem, but cause, it's the individual. The individual is making that choice, whether it's from outside influences or inside influences. I think if we can come up with a program that assists the individual and not assists the whole problem, I think that's the first step to maybe being down the right path.
Thanks. Just a quick follow-up would be, I know you're doing wonderful work with your current position on serving, and so how does that differ from your post now to now?
So my current employment with Vietnam Veterans of America, my major focus is on assisting vets and their widows, their dependents, with federal benefits. I don't get to focus on the local aspect as much. I direct them to the counties, or I direct them to the state. But with this job, it is the local. It is getting that intimacy with the veteran or intimacy with the surviving spouse or their dependents, and being able to help them on a bigger scale than just the federal benefits.
Great motivation, thank you. No further questions, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Terry?
Good morning, thank you
Good
for
morning,
being
sir.
here for the interview. How are you in working independently?
Phenomenal.
You like that atmosphere, I mean, that situation? Not every job is totally independent, but
I don't dislike it. I definitely think, since I've been working in this office full time for the last 4 years, since I got back from my last activation, it definitely helps having people in the office because we can brainstorm, we can bounce ideas off of each other. If we hit a roadblock, we can go to the other person, help try to solve the problem that's at hand. As far as working individually, for the last 10 years, as a VSO, I've been sort of on my own, where I've been working in the Battle Creek VA by myself. All my coworkers are spread out throughout the state. So I'm able to do it. I don't prefer it because I like having extra minds around where I can talk and get help if I need it, or just having social interaction. But I'm perfectly capable of doing it.
yeah, and you enjoy it. I mean, that's, well.
I don't hate it.
Right, gotcha. As far as your, you probably in your present job use computer quite a bit.
Yes, sir.
But let's see, what software? No, how comfortable are you in navigating internet as far as to find appropriate information when needed for services for a veteran?
Very confident. I do it every day. When a vet comes to me and says I have this medical condition, I get on the internet and I'm immediately searching what it is. how it's related, and how I can find that connection between that medical condition and their military service. Within the last couple weeks, I've worked with Charles Scott to try and modernize the office, and I've taken some of their analog documents, so their account information, their driving tracker, and I put it on an Excel spreadsheet that is available to you guys when you want it, where it keeps track of all the latest up-to-date information, how much money we're currently tracking that's in the voucher account to help veterans with the county relief program. I've modernized, I've brought up to date the county relief application, where I put that on the computer, and my goal, if I get the job, is to make that accessible to the veterans before they come to the office. Have a way of them getting that on the computer at home and then bringing us the information, so that way it saves them time and it's more efficient for the office. I'm always on the internet looking up and trying to find the best ways to help our clients.
Thank you.
Okay, now, I'll ask you a few questions.
Yes, sir.
And what is your understanding of the responsibilities and the duties of the position that you're applying for?
So my understanding is, sir, is to assist the veteran or their dependents as best as we can in a way that is feasible to either themselves or to the office. We not only assist with veteran-related stuff, but there have been instances in my last 10 years of my career where I've assisted veterans in stuff that isn't related to the VA. So, for example, yesterday, we had a National Guard service member pass away this year. Federal does not offer any gravesite markers or headstones to National Guard service members because that is a state organization. So I reached out to Representative Jennifer Ward's office, and I'm hoping that I can start a program within the state to get National Guard service members gravesite recognition they deserve.
Absolutely.
Very good.
We also assist with just as much as we can that it is a reasonable ask from the clients, no matter what it is.
Thank you. Okay, next question is, please describe a situation in which you feel your ethics or morals were compromised, and how did you handle that situation?
I will file claims, I will assist, but it is very difficult for me to, in this role, assist close friends, because I don't want my work or lack of work in some cases, if that's possible, to affect our relationship. All right, I try to keep professional and personal separate. The only real time where my morals and my ethics were compromised is in this line of work, we're not allowed to accept monetary gratuity. Right? This is a thankful job. Thank yous are enough for us, or supposed to be enough. But when a veteran feels appreciative of the work that we give, they feel it's necessary to reciprocate in a way that they think is necessary.
Mm-hmm.
So I have received monetary compensation. I didn't want it. I felt like it wasn't warranted, because all I did was push paperwork to try and make their lives easier. To me, it didn't seem like it was worth what they were giving me. So I ended up taking that money that was given to me, I ended up donating it to the organization I was working for to help vets. Recently that happened again, but it was kind of, I talked to my boss about it, and it was a situation where we felt like it was just better for me to take it and use it for my own family, just because it was a smaller amount than before. But I'm in that role now where I don't need anything. I just need thank yous. Just a small thank you for doing what I do is enough for me.
Okay, very good. Please describe a situation in which you were asked to complete a project, assignment, or task, and you didn't have the resources to complete it. What did you do?
Adapt and overcome, just like the military way. If you don't have the tools to finish a project, you either make the tools or you find the tools. So right now I am the West Side Field Supervisor for the Vietnam Veterans of America here in the state of Michigan. Right now I currently have 3 employees under me. That is a program that I started within my organization. It's never been done before. because we had grown so much. So I reached out to the American Legion because they know that they have field supervisors. And I asked them, well, what do your supervisors do? And I pretty much took the best ideas from the best organizations and created this new position for our organization.
What's that organization called?
The one that I work for now?
The 3 employees are underneath you?
Yeah, all right, so I am the field supervisor for the west side of Michigan.
Of DAV or
Vietnam Vets of America, VVA.
Okay.
DVA, okay.
So that's in addition to what you currently hold?
No, that is what he does.
That is
I mean,
your-
It's
yes.
in his, it's all there. You're not doing
The
it for how
field
long now?
So I've been a field supervisor for 6 months, but I've been a veteran service officer for 10 years.
So the 10 years is what I remember. He just supports our off. I mean,
Yeah.
we help him with his mission. He helps us with our
The
mission.
3 employees under you is what threw me off. There's 3
Yeah,
guys.
so essentially I'm just a manager.
And there's other guys that work in Southwest Michigan, is it?
Yep, so I have an employee in Battle Creek, I have an employee in Ann Arbor, and then I have an employee that covers the Grand Rapids area.
Okay. Then the next question I have is, where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
Doing exactly what I've been doing for the last 10 years, sir, helping
Okay.
vets.
Okay.
Preferably here in Branch County, but wherever the veterans need me,
That's
I will
very
be
good.
there.
Very good. Okay, what did you learn growing up that still guides you today?
Think before you speak.
Very good advice. Okay. And then please describe what you think you will accomplish on the job in the first 3 months and then in the first year.
My goal, again, for the office is to modernize it. Bringing everything up that was done for the last 20 years. We can't fix it because it wasn't broken. What you guys have done for the last 22 years has been in the service of the veterans. What I want to do is just bring it up into modern times. Make it even more accessible to the veterans. Make it easier for them to understand what benefits they're entitled to and to help them as much as I possibly can. My year goal, I haven't figured that out yet. Because there's nothing too new to bring in. It's just taking the foundation and making it stronger.
Chair, I got a question on that follow-up real quick. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. We talked about 1 month, 3 months, a year, 3 years, 5 years, doing it forever, helping veterans. How do you, that position, get a guy like our chairman there? And I just flew over Vietnam, right? How do we get people like to utilize what they've earned and like to help, like, because there's these stigmas out I've seen with veterans, like, I don't need that, other guys need that, like, what does that mean to receive what we've earned and stuff like that? How do you get guys like that in the next month? Is that culture? Like, what are we doing?
So how do we bring them into the office to get them aware of their benefits? I mean, we already do have a great advertisement system with Facebook, with the news, social media. Word of mouth plays a huge role. If I help a veteran, say I somehow get them 100% service connected for VA benefits, opens the whole world up to them. They're going to tell their friends, and their friends are going to come in and inquire. But for the
So if you could hook him up, maybe you could hook him up. But I think how do you get people to like understand like the value that's there, like in this office? This office provides so much value to stuff that's been earned.
So I would say for the more stubborn ones,
Oh.
the ones who were, I don't deserve it, I didn't earn it, give it to someone who needs it more than I am. I explained to them that the system is designed to maximize how much assistance we can give the veterans. The more we can get eligible, the more we can get in, the more we can help. So for the ones who feel like they don't need it, who don't deserve it, even if we can get their foot in the door, the VA will take that number, take that body, take that DD-214, take that whomever, that person. They will report that to their bosses in Congress and Senate and the government. Government will then take that and use that to decide. And this is all maybe in my head. I don't know if it actually happens like that. I'm not there.
Expenditure.
But they
Number.
take that data and then they give the VA more money. And the more money that the VA gets, the more veterans they can help. So that's how I explain it is even if you don't want to use it, all you got to do is minimum 1 year, and that's going to help 10, 20, however many vets after that.
Let me interject here. I've been on the board for 20 years or so. Every year it's gone up because of what he says. The more you use it, the more the government sees that you need it, and it goes up. And every year it's gone up, and that's why. And we're gonna continue doing that. So I think that's what he's saying, so.
Great answer. Thank you so much.
All right.
All right,
Dennis?
next question is, what do you consider to be your biggest strength?
Experience.
And along with that one, what do you consider to be your biggest weakness?
I have a lot of weaknesses. I think everyone does. Sometimes I speak before I think. Sometimes I think before I act before I think. But I think that's part of life. I'm also young, so I don't have the life experience to make up for those shortcomings. But
Good. And I have one last question, and that is, what inherently motivates you and keeps you going each day?
truthfully, I gotta pay bills. No, I mean, it's just being able to come in, checking the voicemail and someone saying, you did this for me, thank you. Coming in, veterans needing food assistance, can I get some food? Yes, absolutely. And just them being happy and appreciative of the little things that we can do for them. You know, we had a vet, severe medical conditions. The family was starting to get behind on bills. And we were able to get them service connected 100%, permanent total, you know, with that property taxes. But the retroactive amount wasn't enough. At least in my opinion, wasn't enough, because I'm used to dealing with tens of thousands. Well, the amount was less than 10. And I said, I'm sorry, it's not as much as it could be. And the wife was crying on the phone saying it was enough to help us get through to the next day. And just little things like that is why I come in here every day.
Okay, very good, thank you. That's all the questions I have.
I only have the one question at this time. I'm gonna ask everybody the same question. But as the Veterans Affairs Director of the Branch County, who do you work for?
The veterans.
Thank you. Rod?
That was a really quick question.
It was.
All right, I'm gonna try to ask some questions here that will finalize this a little bit. And I'm looking at what they've all asked you, so I won't ask the same question over and over. I think Andy asked you what motivates you for this and all, but I'm gonna ask you, why should we hire you for this position?
I don't know. I don't know why. I like to think it's because I have experience as a veterans service officer. I like to think that some days, most days, I have the personality to interact with the vets to get them comfortable enough to open up to me in order for me to maximize how much assistance I can give them. I like to think I have new ideas that haven't been thought of in the office, and I like to think that I can do a lot of good for the county, for our veterans. But at the end of the day, I also know that there's two other equally qualified candidates, at least in my opinion, and there's 5 people who get to say in it, and I can't tell you, or hopefully I can tell you, but I can only do what I can do to change your minds, convince you.
Right.
You want me to jump in here?
You got a question?
I was gonna ask that one.
Oh, go ahead. All right, go ahead, Tom. He's got another question.
Let you sort your thoughts there.
Yeah, I'm just looking down through here to see.
Please explain your educational background and how that will assist you in this position.
So I have a high school diploma from Hillsdale High School. I graduated in 2011. I have 15 years of Army experience to include basic leader courses, advanced leader courses. I have 10 years of experience with Vietnam Veterans of America, the Military Order of the Purple Heart, And with that, in order to be a service officer, you have to go through annual, semi-annual training with the VA. When I first started, I received TRIP training, which stands for, excuse me,
It's on the back.
Training, Responsibility, Involvement, and Preparation of Claims. That is the minimum requirement for someone to
That's 7 in it.
submit and represent veterans in front of the Veterans Benefits Administration. I've also completed the National Veterans Legal Services Program, NVLSP, which was one of the top law firms in the country. I've completed their VSO training. I've done VVA accreditation, Military Order of the Purple Heart, to Congressionally Chartered Organizations training for certification. I have 10 years of training as a VSO. I've conducted training as a VSO. The American Legion hosts an annual thing that they've asked me to come and teach veterans benefits. I've taken upon myself an unofficial training officer for our organization, where I conducted our organization's training monthly, biannually, annually. What that does for me is, anytime someone's starting off within this job, they have to start from scratch. They have to start step one. And step one is getting in touch with the Detroit Regional Office and getting signed up and starting those trainings to become accredited in order to submit claims and represent veterans to the VA. I have that done. Once you do that, that certificate's good for life.
So no college was required in any of this training?
No, sir.
Just your own G2?
Yes, sir. I'm already ahead of the curve with all that stuff. So day one, I can reach out to the American Legion. I'm not going to lose the accreditation I already have. So I'm already certified with the Vietnam Vets of America and the Veteran Voices of America. That's 2 organizations that I can already represent veterans. That's day one.
Good question, good answer.
Andy?
Just follow on on that question would be like, if we hire you, we lose you.
No. No.
How are we gonna fill like what you do now?
So
Well, that's a question I think we don't,
They won't be consistent with
Yeah,
the other
that-
Oh, I got to
interviewees.
well, asking.
you can't ask that if,
Well, I
because
said,
the other ones
if we
we won't
hire
get-
you, could
No,
you?
don't
work-
ask it.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Question.
You can't ask that.
Have to withdraw that one.
Okay.
Just
Withdrawn.
because of the situation there.
Question withdrawn.
We have to be
Okay.
consistent. Do you understand what we're doing here, Nick?
yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to be fair.
All right, I got a question for you.
I think it's good. Thank you. Thank you.
How are you working with the board, specifically this board? You know the board that we've got here, and you're looking at it. How are you working with this board? Are you familiar with this board and how we've done things over the years? We got 2 new members, but we've got members that have been on here for a number of years. Is there something you would tell us that you would do different with this board, or
Well, I mean, to be honest, I know you gentlemen. There may have been a time in the past where I've assisted some of you gentlemen with VA stuff, but as far as how you guys operate, anytime that you guys have had your board meeting, I've always left work early that day to not impose or get involved in something that I didn't need to be involved in at the time. I didn't want to create a conflict of interest or anything else like that. I wanted to let you guys do your own thing for the county, and at the time I wanted to do my own thing for my own organization.
okay? Okay, along with that, you know we have a fleet of vehicles.
Yes, sir.
Okay. How are you in the maintenance of those, the replacement of those, and the use of those? How do you feel that we're using those right now?
Extremely well as it can be. The maintenance is being done when it needs to be done. It's being identified by the drivers, who are the ones who are in them every day. Excuse me. I think the paying the drivers and tracking rides and all that stuff can be, again, modernized. And again, I've started that process already. My only biggest concern is when it comes down to replacing a vehicle and how that could come about. That's a problem for tomorrow, not today.
That's something you'll have to learn, you mean, okay, gotcha,
Yes, sir.
okay.
You'll have to offer in one
All right,
drive.
you're also aware in the office there that we've got other current benefits besides getting in the computer and getting all this stuff.
Yes, sir.
We got food in there, we've got electric cards,
Mhm.
all those other things that we use in there. Is there anything that you would change in there, or you'd like to see added to, or taken away from, anything along with those current other benefits?
I would like to try and bring some sort of grocery voucher into the office, partnering up with the local grocery store and being able to give veterans money to go and get the groceries that they either need or would like, because the pantry can only offer them so much, and we can only offer them so much from the pantry. But if we can have a program where they get X amount of dollars, they cannot use it for anything that they're not supposed to go and get foods for their respective diets, I think that would be a lot better than what could be done currently. I would like to see that area a little more organized, and then maybe advertise some of the stuff more, because a lot of times the stuff sits for weeks or months on end. So getting a little more involved with the community and saying, hey, we have this stuff. After a certain amount of time, if a veteran doesn't need it or doesn't want it, offering it up to the community that may need it, and get out of that little veteran niche sometimes.
Okay.
Chair, I heard one thing he said right there, so I have a question. Uniform for everybody would be, you said community. What does your position get involved, what does getting involved with community mean?
I don't know. It's not something I've put a whole lot of thought into, but I know because of the situation with the office, there hasn't been a whole lot, because there couldn't be a whole lot, because it would be neglecting the roles and responsibilities. But just starting off slow and just talking, letting people know, hey, if you have a veteran, starting off, I don't care if they're within the county, if they're a veteran that needs help, at least give them our number, and then we'll direct them from there to appropriate local resources for the veteran. But just being more involved, doing fundraising events, doing veteran appreciation events, and just starting to put more into the county.
Okay, and this next question might answer some of what you just asked, Andy. What is your availability outside the normal business hours? Okay, we're talking, for example, our business hours are daytime.
Mhm.
And the American Legions all meet in the evening.
Mhm.
And there's 4 of them in the county, of those. Of course, you got the others, there's Eagles and
Elks,
Moose and all those things.
they're all veterans.
Yeah,
stuff.
they're all veterans.
The lefties.
What is your availability to go to them once in a while? I don't mean make every meeting by any means, but what is your availability outside? Or, other than that, on a weekend, there's an emergency, one of our vets has an emergency, something happens, furnace stops or something like that. What's your availability of being able to get a hold of you and getting something for that veteran?
That's something I would have to talk with the county about, getting that cell phone, that mobile phone, so when I'm in the office, they have a way of reaching me. But as far as availability goes, whenever a vet needs me, if they get a hold of me, I will be there. I might be grumpy if it's at 3 o'clock in the morning, but I'll be there and I'll try to do everything I can to help that veteran.
So and you're talking about they have a phone that is available?
If I can get a cell phone provided from the county or through the office, so that way when I'm at home, if they call the office here, I have no way of knowing that. But if there's another number for them to reach, they would call that phone, I would have it, and I'd be able to respond.
So you're saying you don't want to dedicate, you don't want it to trickle into your personal cell phone, that kind of thing. You
No.
want a dedicated line for
Yes.
this position.
Yes.
And so to follow up on what Rod was asking about the Elks and the Eagles and all those other organizations, would you be available? Because you're going to be part of the fabric of this community
Absolutely.
if you're the director, and you have to be present Memorial Day, different events like that, 4th of July. You know, I just want. I think this is an excellent question because
Absolutely. I absolutely would be available. It'd take me 30 minutes to get here, but I have a family that's very supportive of my career, very supportive of my life. I have a family extended family that will help out when we need them. And yes, if the county needs me, when the county needs me, when the veterans need me, I will be there.
110%.
Well, I can only give 100, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a follow-up question, Chair, with that. We're not
Okay.
gonna, it can be uniform, is, how does, you know, the position, get volunteerism within our office?
How do we get volunteers
How
or?
do we recruit?
How do we get people
How
to
to
be excited to
recruit.
come to the office to help you out? Like, you don't have to be at all those meetings, but you need a report from all those meetings.
Well, we
Like,
just
you might have a guy here, might say, hey man, I'll take your Legion dude, and then I'll give you a report. You tell me, you say, well, that's going on, you know, but what's that?
start
position?
support or advertising, trying to get the community involved, try to do things that would get them excited for the office, that would want to participate, sort of like how the Legion, VFW, the DABs, they do things with their events, their fundraising events. People get excited to do it because they want to do it. We have drivers now, we have more drivers now than what has been in the past because the word got out and people are excited and wanting to help vets get to their hospitals. So it's going to take a while, but it's something that is very possible, and we just figure out the first step and work together to get it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I will ask you then, do you have any questions?
I do not, sir. I do want to appreciate everyone's time and let me come in and chat with you for a little while.
Chair, excuse me, we might have a question.
They can read that, well, ask it.
Do you want me to read the question from the crowd?
I don't know. We
You can read
usually
it,
don't,
Tom.
we usually don't take questions
We're,
from the
we're just,
crowd.
we're talking about not having any public input.
Okay. Just the middle, man.
And you can ask that to all candidates.
What's this last word now?
Cutting?
Oh, is that
Yes.
cutting? Oh, cutting VA benefits?
Yep, and they're talking about means
Yeah,
testing as well.
okay, we'll ask this to you. It'll be the last question there. Let me see, let me read it right.
Absolutely. I was gonna have Andy read it
And
for you.
that's okay. Yeah, any of us could read it, but in today's political environment with Republicans current talking about cutting VA benefits, what's your position on that?
I don't know if that's appropriate.
No.
I gotta stop you right there.
Political.
I gotta stop you right
Yeah,
there.
that's political. You can't do that. Yep, that was brought up before.
Yeah, we've covered that before the meeting.
Yep, thank you for reminding me.
It's a good
of
question,
that.
but
Well, the
maybe
word there,
for afternoon.
Republican,
As soon as you said that, I'm like, no,
yeah,
we
yeah.
gotta cut that.
Yep, so,
Disregard.
yep.
Okay. We don't want to make it about politics, we'll make it about veterans.
Yes.
I get your question.
Did you have any
Always
questions?
about veterans.
All right, you're all set
But we
then,
have-
thank
Okay,
you.
well, thank you, Nick, appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Nick. Good
Yes.
job. Good